Hello parents, my name is David Evans. I'll be your son or daughter's Algebra 2 teacher. Just wanted to go over a few things. One is contact information. Math office is C203, my classroom is C211. That is my office phone. If you can email me with any questions you might have, that is the best way of communication. Try to get back to emails within 24 hours. If you notice that I have not gotten back to your email within 24 hours, please just send that same email again and I'll make sure I get back to you. Office hours is another. We have what's called Mohai Mondays. Now there are lots of different activities and things that happen in Mohai Mondays, so as long as there isn't a pep assembly or another activity, I'll be available to help students from 10:20 to 10:50 on Mondays. We have one access time per week, 8:35 to 9:30 on Thursdays. You can see here. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday by appointment. So just have your son or daughter talk to me in class and make an appointment. And I'm happy to help kids after school as well as we may need as the year progresses here. So you can see I've got a bunch of standards in there. So take a moment and you can read those. Let's talk about the grading policy. So we have 10% in homework, 5% in participation. That's what's called prep and practice. And then another formative category are quizzes and projects. Summative categories are each chapter test and the final exam. In the homework category, homework is worth 10 points. Students must have the proper heading on their homework, which includes their name, the class period that they're in, and the page number and problem numbers on the homework. As I said, it's graded on a 10-point scale. Students will receive all 10 points as long as they have tried each problem. Not critical that they get the problems correct, but at least tried every problem. We have a 5% participation grade. Two different ways students can get the participation. They can either come in for help during one of the access times or on Mohai Mondays. I'll also be available to help students on the day of a quiz or a test during lunch, as long as we don't have a math department meeting. So that's another way. The second way they can get participation, we have optional challenge problems, which are periodically assigned during each homework assignment. Not every homework assignment, but many will have some challenge problems that students can do. That is another way that they can get the participation grade. For quizzes, I like to give frequent lesson quizzes. So every section or two, maybe 3 sections max, students will get a quiz. So it'll be a short quiz, 2 to 4 questions, sometimes 5, 6 if it's easy, quicker questions. And so I'll teach this subject during the day, whatever the topic may be, and students might get a lesson quiz on that same day. They are allowed to use notes during these lesson quizzes, so importance of taking good notes in class. Students will recognize that as these quizzes come through. They can use homework assignments as well. There are opportunities to retake these lesson quizzes. If a student retakes a lesson quiz without notes, they get the new grade. If they take the lesson quiz with notes again, then I'll average the 2 grades. So if a student gets a 60 on the first lesson quiz, when they retake get an 80, we average those 2 scores and the student will get a 70%. Make the final worth 20%. Then it's meaningful. Students need to prepare for the final. We'll spend 3 or 4 days before the final exam. Students will get a review packet about 2 weeks before finals that they can begin to work on, and then in class we'll work on it at least the block day and the Friday before finals week begins. I do round grades. So if a student gets an 89.5, nothing is needed, they get an A in the class. 69.5, they get a C in the class, and so on. Just so you know that. Let's go back to the Schoology page. There are a few things I want to talk about there. So we have Algebra 2. We've got 2 different links. This one is through the Boulder Valley School District single sign-on. This one is a PDF version. I find the PDF version easier to use. If a student would like to look at the textbook, they click here. It'll bring up all the different chapters we cover. So we'll just click on chapter 1. We did section 5 yesterday, and then they can scroll down for greater detail with the sections. So again, click here for the link, chapter 1. And let's look at the absolute value. And as it loads up here, you can see there it pops up. And then at the bottom here is the homework page. Just scroll to the bottom and it'll load up here in a second. There we go. So here is the beginning of the homework page, right? Page 46, you can see down here at the bottom. So if a student, for whatever reason, can't access the homework, I do create PDFs of these homeworks as well, which I will show you next. Back to the Schoology homepage. So they can click on the calendar here. So here's last night's homework. We can click View. And then I've got the notes. So take a second to load here. So that's going over some problems from the previous night's homework, and then you can see where the notes begin. So I'm big on the organized use of color. I like to write these helpful hints in green. For instance, in this problem, students will need to get the absolute value by itself first before they write their two equations. But you can see we've got all the notes on there. They can also see the book page. It's another way to access the book. So here's the page with all of their necessary problems for that assignment. One other thing I'd like to talk about, getting back to the Schoology homepage, is graphing calculator choices. Students will need a graphing calculator. You can see we have TI-83 plus. Let's make that a little bit bigger. So they can get a TI-83 plus, TI-84 plus, or the TI-84 plus CE. That's just got a color screen, rechargeable batteries. They do not need to get any of these options here, hence the big X through them. Inspire, TI-89, or the fancier TI Inspire. 83 and 84 are fine. Any of the local retailers will have those. I encourage kids to get those as soon as possible because we started working with the graphing calculator yesterday. One other thing I'd like to show you is a link to my YouTube channel. So we've got each section we do here, starting at the bottom, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. We've got videos for the kids to refer to from previous years. If I change things a lot, I'll record a new video, but all of the different topics are on there for students to look at in case they're absent. They'll also use those to study for a test if they didn't get an example. So we'll just click on, let's just click on what we did yesterday in class. So what they can do is scroll through and find, for instance, here's example 3. And then they can click play down here, and then they'll get the method of doing that third example. And if a student struggles, right, they can come back to these videos and listen to them, listen to this example 3 or 4 times till they totally understand the information. I also have a link here for graphing calculator directions because it's pretty intense what we do with the graphing calculator. Just pull up some instructions here. I have a smartboard in my class which helps me to take screenshots. So here's how you reduce fractions. I did 17 divided by 51. Then we hit math and enter twice, and it'll reduce that fraction to 1/3. So I'm able to grab the button pushes that the kids will need. This is one problem here. So you can see how many things they need to remember with the graphing calculators. That's all I have. Please email me at david.evans@bvsd.org if you have any questions, and I'm happy to get back to you within 24 hours. Thanks. I'm so excited to have the kids back in person. Really looking forward to this school year. Please encourage them to wear their masks because that's how we maintain our in-person status. Thanks so much.